Hello everybody, Infernape Shinjo here. Welcome to today's video. A little bit of backstory before I get into this. I didn't plan on recording at all today. I saw this image and I wanted to make a video on it. Second, I have a little canker sore in the back of my mouth. It's giving me a pain, but hopefully that won't really make my voice sound much different. If anything, I might slur my words because it's in a very awkward position. But regardless, I got up this morning and they're saying this new Arc of the Sun and Moon anime is coming out. It's changing to Sunday evenings on October 7th and it's starting then. Because I think the Necrozma arc might be finishing up today, the day that I'm recording this. And then they're going to take a few weeks off and then come back in October. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I saw this poster and I'll definitely enlarge it so it'll be easier to see. And there's nothing really else I can say except, wow. Let me just get started on this poster and notice things that I can see. So first of all, Brock and Misty are back, which I'm honestly a little bit surprised about. I mean, honestly, even when they had the whole thing about Ash and them visiting Kanto, and then Ash saying, oh, you should visit Alola sometime when you get a chance. I honestly didn't expect that to actually happen. So, needless to say, I'm definitely surprised that Brock and Misty are coming back. And I'm not sure if it's just going to be for a few episodes, like it was when they visited Kanto, or if it's going to be more than that. And overall, I think with Brock and Misty coming back, there's definitely a chance for them to get new encounters because, shoot, the last time they got encounters was ages ago, way longer ago for Misty because she's been gone since Hoenn. The last one that she had was Togepi evolving into Togetic, and Brock was Happiny evolving into Chansey at the end of Sinnoh, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's one that I'm missing. Though I can't really think of any encounters that would work for Misty's team, I can definitely see Brock getting any of the Alolan Geodude line. Although it would be kind of weird for Brock to have Alolan Geodude since he already has a regular Geodude, but I think it would be at least cool to have an episode focused on regular Geodude compared to Alolan Geodude, just because Brock is here, and I'm assuming they're going to bring their Pokemon. It would be just silly if they don't. Now the second thing, and I honestly didn't even notice this at first, all the way in the back, I could probably, can I zoom this in? No, I can't really zoom this in. But way in the back, where Team Rocket's Beware truck is at, there's a little Stuffle there. And honestly, I didn't notice it at first, because Team Rocket's and Wobbuffet are all wearing Beware outfits. Beware's there, Beware's on the truck, so didn't even notice the Stuffle there. And I'm definitely excited to see Stuffle debut in the anime because I don't think he has even made a debut yet. If anything, it's just a very minor cameo. So now the question comes in, is Beware or Stuffle going to be a capture? Or is it going to be kind of like what Beware is right now? Not entirely captured by Team Rocket, but part of the team regardless? If anything, I'm a bit confused as to why Stuffle's here, although they might be able to explain it when the anime comes to that point. Because otherwise, it would be just weird for a Stuffle to just come into Team Rocket in that one episode, and then Stuffle's just like, okay, I'm gonna join your team. Although considering how Stuffle's Pokédex entries are in the games, I'm really excited for how Stuffle's going to be portrayed. Because especially when he uses his attack animations, it's just so adorable. So I'm really wondering if they're going to try and take the Happiny approach with him by making him a baby Pokemon, but can lift incredible strength much like Brock's Happiny could. And now I think it's safe to go on to one of the larger parts of the poster that everybody probably already noticed at this point. Hau is here. That's honestly probably should have been one of the first things I mentioned, but I wanted to save it for a little bit later. So yeah, Hau is here. There's honestly not much else I can say about that, other than the fact that Hau is here, and it seems like he has a Dartrix. So now, the only real monkey wrench, I guess to call it, that can be thrown in is Ash's Rowlet going to evolve? Because some people will probably think, oh, Ash's Rowlet has no hope of evolving now because Hau has a Dartrix. And the only thing I say to that is that's not entirely a reliable case to make. Because although most of the time it is the case that Pokemon that one of Ash's rivals has, he doesn't overlap, there are some instances where that's happened. Both of them were actually in Sinnoh, come to think of it. Ash had a Turtwig, and in the episode that it evolved into Grotle, it was upset because it couldn't use speedy attacks like it always has, but Paul's Torterra helped it to overcome that and learn a new battle style. So, one example right there, Ash had a member of the Turtwig line that evolved into Torterra, and Paul had a Torterra. And as well, Paul had a Gliscor, and Ash had a Gliscor. Even though it's not really that easy to remember that Paul had a Gliscor, I remember it because the episode soon after Ash caught Gligar, his Gligar battled Paul's Gliscor, and Gliscor used Guillotine on it. That one scene I always remember. So while it is unlikely that Ash's Rowlet would evolve, it is still possible that it could evolve because the simple fact that Hau has a Dartrix doesn't necessarily imply that Ash won't get Decidueye, for example. Although, just from my personal opinion, I think that Ash's Rowlet should at least evolve once, because honestly, Rowlet hasn't really been doing much as far as battles go in Sun and Moon. The one example of a battle I can think of right now is battling the Oricorio very early on, but otherwise, he's just been the comic relief sleeping in Ash's backpack. So I think it would be cool to have him evolve at least once, maybe twice, maybe to the Decidueye, but who knows. If people are still hung up on the fact that Hau has a Dartrix and Ash has a Rowlet, you could even argue the case that Ash has a Torracat and Professor Kukui has an Incineroar. Judging from the argument, that would mean that Ash's Torracat is going to stay as a Torracat. So moving down the poster, there's definitely one big elephant in the room that I need to address. There's one thing that I re-examined when looking through the poster, and that's everybody's hands. Because you can clearly see that Ash has a Z-Ring, a Z-Power Ring. Sophocles doesn't have any. Mallow doesn't seem to have any, although she might, because I thought that that one hand by Serena was her hand, but I think that's actually Ash's. Kiawe clearly has a Z-Ring, although it doesn't look like Team Rocket's wearing theirs, so that's kind of unusual. And as far as Hau, who knows if he has a Z-Ring, one of his hands is covered up. But we already know Lana has a Z-Ring, but take a look over at Lily. Both of her hands are basically hidden. You can see one hand behind her hat, and you can't even see her other hand. So, maybe that's foreshadowing that she's gonna get a Z-Ring? Honestly, that wouldn't be too surprising, because the last ending of Sun and Moon Pose, the second version of it had Lily perform the Ice Z move, and she has an Ice-type Alolan Vulpix. But let me get into the part that everybody is on about. The Eevee with the dino hair. And honestly, this is actually funny. I might even link the tweet down in the description, but JYT Gamer was commenting on this picture, and he said something to the effect of, I hope that Ash actually gets this Eevee, because every time an Eevee is introduced in the anime, it's never Ash's. Thinking back, May had an Eevee that evolved into a Glaceon. Serena had an Eevee that evolved into a Sylveon. And as well, Ash's main rival Gary has an Eevee that evolved into an Umbreon. And judging from all of Ash's main traveling companions, the only other one that I could argue this Eevee going to immediately is Lily. Because looking at everybody else's team, they only use Mons that are their primary typing. Sophocles only has electric types, Mallow only has grass types, Lana only has water types, and Kiawe only has fire types. So, I think the top two options for this Eevee belonging to are Lily and Ash. And I could easily make a case more for Ash because it's right up there next to Ash alongside Pikachu and Rotom Dex. And honestly, I really hope that it goes to Ash because Ash has basically had bad luck with Eevee before. Like I mentioned, every Eevee that's belonged to the main cast hasn't been Ash's at all. And from the looks of this Eevee, it's just here to remind people that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are here. Which, not entirely disappointed with that, not entirely pleased with that either. Although one thing that I will say, which might even contradict the argument that I made earlier, Eevee's new special moves were revealed just the other day. What are they? Bouncy Bubble, Slizzly Slide, Sizzly Slide, and I don't know, Fizzy Fizz, whatever the last one is. Basically, they're the types of the 3 original evolutions, water, fire, and electric. So, I guess by that logic, you could easily see the Eevee going to either Sophocles, Kiawe, or Lana in that case. But I honestly think after try 3 of an Eevee coming into the anime, it's finally time for Ash to get one. Although since this Eevee is probably going to be here just to broadcast Let's Go, it's probably not going to be able to evolve at all. Or it might just be a situation like Pikachu is, where Ash tries to give it a stone and it just smacks it away. But just from looking at this Eevee, I can see that it's probably going to have a great personality in the anime. The fact that it has all of its hair / fur covering its eyes, I could see it being one of those characters that's just running around aimlessly and bumping into things because it can't see, basically just like a dino like I mentioned earlier. But I think that that's really all that I can comment on this. There might be minor things that I might have missed, but that's all that I'm seeing right here. Honestly, I'm surprised that, first of all, Hau is going to make his debut, which is wild because I've already recorded my discussion on whether Team Skull, Guzma, and Plumeria are going to make their debut in the anime. I already recorded that. That video is probably already out by the time that this is out. But I didn't expect Hau to be here so soon. Although I guess considering Sun and Moon has been out for a while, it's not as soon. And of course now that Hau's here, everybody's probably going to say, oh, here's the rival that Ash is going to lose to in the league. Which, I can see that. Although honestly, I think it would make more sense, in my mind, for Ash to lose to Gladion. If he performs in the league at least. But if you want me to make a separate discussion on that, then I can do that. But that is going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed, do not forget to hit that like button down below. Let me know what you think about this trailer. Let me know what you think about any new potential additions to Misty and Brock's team. And who do you think the Eevee belongs to? Biggest question of all. And what are the fates of Stuffle and that Dartrix? Do you think that Dartrix is going to be Hau's? Let me know all that down in the comment section. And I will see you in the next video. Momentai.